Good morning, friends. Another piece of safety is the safety in response to people who have an experience of trauma. So that may be a little bit different for people who have healthy, positive histories in relationships. And so one of the things in understanding yourself regarding trauma is something called the ACE survey or ACE questionnaire. So ACE stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. So there was a study back in the 1980s that it originated from a weight loss clinic in California, where they were having people that were trying to lose weight and they were noticing some patterns. And so they started identifying pieces of childhood trauma or adverse experiences that contributed to difficulty losing weight. And there's so much science on that. We're not going to get into that in 7 or 8 minutes. But I want to go over this for you. So basically, the way the survey works is it's 10 questions, yes or no questions. And so being able to understand and recognize what your experiences were and realizing that there may be things that have impacted you that you don't even recognize are impacting you. So I'm going to link the actual survey. It's actually free online for the ACE survey, but I'm also going to read you the questions. So number 1, when you were growing up during the first 18 years of your life, this is the section in which we measure this. Number 1, did a parent or other adult in the household often swear at you, insult you, put you down, or humiliate you, or act in a way that made you afraid you might be physically hurt? If it's yes, your score is 1. Number 2, did a parent or other adult in the household often push, grab, slap, or throw something at you, or ever hit you so hard that you had marks or were injured? Number 3, did an adult or person at least 5 years older than you ever touch or fondle you or have you touch their body in a sexual way, or try to actually have oral, anal, or vaginal sex with you? It's a point. Number 4, did you often feel that no one in your family loved you or thought you were important or special, or that your family didn't look out for each other, feel close to each other, or support each other? That's a point. Number 5, did you often feel that you didn't have enough to eat, had to wear dirty clothes, or had no one to protect you? Or your parents were too drunk or high to take care of you or take you to the doctor if you needed it? That's a point if it's a yes. Number 6, were your parents ever separated or divorced? Yes or no? 7, was your mother or stepmother often pushed, grabbed, slapped, or had something thrown at her, or sometimes or often kicked, bitten, hit with a fist, or hit with something hard, or ever repeatedly hit or over at least a few minutes or threatened with a gun or knife? Yes or no? Number 8, did you live with anyone who was a problem drinker or alcoholic or who used street drugs? Number 9, was a household member or depressed or mentally ill, or did a household member attempt or complete suicide? Number 10, did a household member go to prison? Now, each of those things contribute to the way that we feel about ourselves. I had a kid that I worked with once. He was 12 years old, and he scored a 10. And the thing is, if you look at the science, the higher the score, the greater the risk of certain things that include addiction, risk of suicide, heart disease, repeated future violences against them, and multiple other things, likelihood of smoking. There's so many different things. I can never get into all of them. But being aware of that, when your score is higher, your need for safety looks different. So what might seem like a very simple statement can feel like a repeated trauma when there are people who have had those experiences. So recognizing that those kind of experiences feed into how we perceive ourselves, how we interact with other people, and the messages that we receive from people when they do or do not show up in the way that is healthy and safe. So for example, if there was an individual who grew up in a household where there was a lot of violence, the absence of violence may not be the healing thing. What might be necessary is that they might need extra warmth and safety and reassurance. And so being aware of these things that have contributed to our experiences, and then being able to ask and offer those to people who have had contrary experiences or don't understand. I've been working with a couple in recent past, and one of them, I haven't done his ACE score yet, but I anticipate that it's probably pretty high. But he found a wife who has no trauma history. And as we started describing the traumatic experiences and how those impact their interactions and their relationships, she was blown away and was finally able to find a place of compassion for his experiences and what he's feeling when they're interacting in a way that feels unsafe. And so recognizing the safety that we provide in response to and awareness of and in compassion to the trauma that existed in our past is very important, because otherwise we just end up repeating the exact environment that kept them stuck. So when we care about people, we try to create the opposite experience as best we can. Not that it's our job to make sure they heal, but because we care enough about them that we don't want them to feel like they felt before. I hope that helps you to begin to be able to communicate what you need and how you experience your interactions with other people. Good luck.